Let's cover the market. So we've bounced back from a dip. We've definitely seen a huge pullback. A lot of this is attributed to negative press in the media at the moment. So while I think some of it is real and there is some discussions going on around regulation and especially in Korea and China, I think it's a little bit convenient that the governments are placing a lot of this information at the same time, and you have to wonder whether the sources or the publications that are releasing this material is accurate or is it slightly biased. So always try to always try to make your own judgment as to whether the source and the information is correct. And I wouldn't always believe everything that I'd read on the internet. So if it's confirmed by multiple sources, then it makes it gives it more credit, and it is probably something you should consider more seriously. However, if you just read one article or something that's been spreading or circulating around Twitter or social media, I would caution against just taking that on face value, and also try to evaluate that for yourself. So anyway, Icon, let's discuss that a little bit. So I think Icon will do really well this year. What it sets out to do is quite ambitious. It is a coin that is very popular in Korea. It is a coin that has come about from a large group or financial investment group named Daily Financial, and I'll go into this a little bit. So hopefully you guys find this useful. And other than that, with the market, I won't go into it too much because, as you guys notice, there was a pullback. A lot of the altcoins that had gone up the most or had the most gains are the ones that have since lost a lot of their gains. Now, we are in a recovering market. Things aren't looking 100% certain that we've bounced back. However, things and sentiment does look a bit more positive at the moment. So we'll have to see where the market takes us in the next week. My personal opinions is that we will probably stay in this range, especially looking at Bitcoin, below 13,500 at least for another 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens there. If we break out above 13,500, I believe that means we will continue our bullish trend, and we will make our way up to 20,000 very quickly. However, I don't think that will be happening in the next 2 weeks. Alright guys, so I'm going to be covering a coin called Icon. Now Icon is currently sitting at $9.04 USD with a market cap of 3.4 billion. So it has done really well since ICO already. And for those of you who don't or haven't heard of Icon, they're basically funded by a venture financial group named as Daily Financial Group. They're one of the most biggest and renowned investment groups out of Korea. And this is the Icon website here. Basically, what is Icon? Icon, the website says they aim to hyperconnect the world. So basically it's a platform coin that is compatible with traditional blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as third-party blockchains. So the whole, and I guess at the moment there is a lot of hype around what's known as interoperability, which is the ability to communicate or work with other blockchain technologies. So breaking down the transactions and communication between different types of blockchain technologies. So they are a team, a cryptocurrency that aims to basically work with other blockchains. However, they are immediately working within the Korean ecosystem. And the reason why it has done so well, or why there's so much hype around this, is, as you can see, there is a bit of a network already. So they boast they already boast communities comprised of reputable institutions, banks, securities, insurance, hospitals, universities, and much more. And on the face of it, I read this, and I didn't know how much, credibility goes into this. But the more research I did, the more I realized that they do have very strong partnerships, and they aren't just some company or team that has just popped out of nowhere with no backing. So I'll cover the team later, but basically let's go to it now. So the team behind this is known as the Loop. So the Loop is basically the team behind Icon, and I'll just go back here. They've got really strong advisors. They've got a team that comes straight out of they're Ivy League equivalent graduates in Korea. So these are your Harvard University equivalents in Korea, and you can see down here they've got a strong team of advisors. So some of the standouts, I guess, if you look at the team here, you can see the CFO is part of the Loop, and he's worked as a CPA in Prince Water Cooper Consulting, so a massive global company, this Hoon Lee is a major in mechanical and aerospace engineering at Seoul National Universities, and these guys are crazy. So when we think that our Ivy League graduates that do really well are, they've done a lot of study, and they're professionals in their field, Koreans just take it that one extra step further, and these guys have like double, triple degrees, and they just they definitely do their research, and they are leaders and innovators when it comes to adopting new technology. So there is good reason why there is a lot of hype around this team, and their ambitions are quite high. So, I mean, their whole aim is to remove middlemen using blockchain, and they're developing smart cities within Korea, and I think the Korean climate has a strong condition for this type of technology to thrive and do really well. So it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. Like, there is a lot of hype around platform coins and protocols, and you try to, like, it's difficult to sort of go through and see which ones will perform well. However, this not only has the ambitions, the tech behind it, a strong team, a strong financial backing, and a lot of partnerships. I believe this has basically an A-star team. It's got a great idea, and it's done really well off the ICO. There's a lot of hype around it as well. However, there are a lot of concerns and things that you should also consider when investing in Icons. So I guess some of the main applications at the moment ranges from trading digital currencies or stocks, also games, security, information, and hospital databases. So there is quite a bit that this coin sets out to do. So there is something that I want to cover, and that is, more recently, Icon had formed a partnership with Kyber Network. So this is pretty massive. Kyber Network is basically a digital token exchange, a DEX or decentralized exchange. They are doing quite well, and there's a few of these. So Waves platform is another cryptocurrency that I immediately think of when I think of Kyber Network. And I think it's still early for decentralized exchanges. However, I think they will do well towards the end of 2018 or early 2019. It's just still very early days for this type of tech. So they've got a lot of partnerships with universities, hospitals, and private companies as well. So They've got partnerships with I think it's Sogang University, and I can't pronounce it too well, so excuse me for that. But let's take a look. If you guys are interested in buying Icon, you can purchase it through Binance. So the ticker symbol is ICX BTC, and you can do this by registering an account, and basically I'll provide a link in below this video for you to register. But basically you'd buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, send that to this exchange, and you can buy Icon from here. So let's go into some of the strengths and weaknesses. So I think let's start with the weaknesses. So I think what Icon is setting out to do is basically really ambitious. So they're making a lot of big promises. There's a lot of big potential, but the more promises and the larger the ambition, I believe the more room there is to disappoint and the more complications that can be caused along the way. So some of the things like tangible milestones and real world application and utility might take longer than expected compared to something that is a bit more specialized, where the milestones are very clear in what they want to achieve. And also, I guess a big one and a big concern would be Korean regulation. So a clamp down on cryptocurrencies is a risk, and in the past 2 weeks we've seen information, whether it's been misrepresented, but it is being discussed around how the government are looking at ways to clamp down and regulate coins. However, on a positive note, Icon are working with the government, and there is information suggesting that they are working within the regulations, so they are trying to comply with the government, and there is communication there. So they have a very good chance to do well, even if regulation tightens up in Korea, I believe, unless Korea, of course, decides to ban cryptocurrencies altogether, which I think is unlikely. Now, another concern is the availability, the available supply may increase. So there's no mining involved here. In the future, up to 20% of supply can be released, which means an inflation in what's available. So that will be interesting. Now, another concern I have is being based out of Korea, they might have difficulty expanding outside of Korea, and this is due to maybe language and cultural barriers. So that's something to look out for too. Although their team is quite diverse and they're not all Koreans, so I think this is something they can overcome. And their team of advisors are not just out of Korea as well. So now I think that's most of the weaknesses. Now I'm sort of more excited to talk about the strengths as always, but I wanted to provide a sort of a more holistic approach to evaluate both the positives and negatives, so you guys can make up your own decisions for investing in Icon. So I think some of the main strengths that stand out to me are the signed partnerships with security consortiums, the universities, the hospitals, and insurance providers. So they already have these sort of strong relationships that definitely help them out. So, you know, this definitely is a massive advantage for these guys, having these kind of relationships. So I guess they're trying to as a real world application to share ID between security brokerages to basically speed up. So yeah, in securities, basically this will speed up new accounts and new users, and it will reduce the need for KYC, or know your customer regulation. So that is that will save time, and that will also make things a bit more efficient there. The partnership with the Korean University Medical Center is a collection of several hospitals and college. It's a collection of the database from the College of Medicine as well as the College of Nursing, and they share databases with the common interest of trying to make things a bit more efficient. Now, I think another strength is that it has been covered by Forbes magazine. So this article is really good. Basically talks about the advantages and strengths of Icon, what it sets out to achieve, basically the government and hospital data, synchronizing databases between hospitals, and basically its use cases possibly in a university environment, the way that Facebook sort of was started during the way Facebook was set up during college or university. So it can be used to pay, to lend each other money, shopping malls, vending machines, and also for tuition. So that's some of the use cases there, which sounds pretty interesting. Now, this is what also is something I'm looking and following. So I think the alliance between Icon, Aon, and WANchain is going to be massive. A lot of people are waiting for the ICO on WANchain and expecting it to do really well as well. Unfortunately, I missed out on the ICO, but I know a lot of you and a lot of people who are following Icon also have been lucky enough to get on in the ICO, and we'll see how that does. I think it's gonna outperform and do really well. So now there are 27 financial firms in Korea that have partnered with Icon and the Loopchain team. So this is also a massive strength for them. There's a massive bank called Daishin Securities, one of the largest banks in Korea. So that's a massive partnership again, and they've got a massive $1 billion USD market cap with over 185 employees. So what else? This is interesting too. So SBI Ripple Asia partners with Daily Financial Group to bring Ripple to South Korea. So Daily Financial is the financial group, as I mentioned earlier, behind or the backing of Icon, and basically this implies that there will be a partnership between Ripple and Icon. So I'll let you guys have a read of this. I won't go into it too much, but they're basically going to be working together. And another big thing too, so Coin1. So Coin1 is the second largest exchange in Korea, and the investors or Daily Financial, one of their investors actually owns Coin1 exchange. So I am looking forward to seeing Icon being listed on Coin1 or some of the other Korean exchanges, and I think this really will make the price go up in the short term. But in general, I just think I think this is a lot more advanced than a lot of blockchain and crypto assets out there at the moment, and I definitely believe it has. I definitely believe it belongs here in the top 15 at least, and a lot of these, like well, I guess Tron's not here anymore, but a lot of coins are showing up in the top 100 which are mostly vaporware and no use cases. So I would like to see Icon do really well. However, I have tempered my expectations, as I know these coins can often disappoint, as they overpromise without a working product, and I think that we'll just have to see how things go. But hopefully you guys found this useful, and I'll cover a different coin next time. But as we can see, there was a big pullback to about $6. So a lot of opportunities to buy cryptos at discounted prices in that recent pullback, and now we can see Icon doing really well with not long now, a couple days until the mainnet launch. So I'm expecting Icon to continue to do well. Now, if you're a new investor, I would suggest maybe looking for a better opportunity to buy in. However, if you are investing for the long term, I don't think it matters too much, as I think it's still heavily undervalued. So hopefully you guys find this useful. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like my video, share this with a friend if you like, and most importantly, subscribe if you haven't already, as I'm always posting new content.